special kind of egg frittata with some vegetables. These are all organic ingredients. The first thing we're going to put in is avocado oil. And according to my notes, avocado oil is a good source of oleic acid, and it's rich in lutein, which is good for eyesight. It's got vitamin B6, K, and E. It has good fats, omega fats, good stuff like that. We're just going to put a little bit into the pan. I have it on close to the low setting right now, and we're just going to leave the, we're going to saute vegetables first. We're going to leave them in for a little while because I'm going to be battering some eggs. A little bit avocado oil. And then I'm going to add some sea salt. Now the wonderful thing about sea salt is that unlike regular salt, this goes out of the body more easily. So just apply a little bit of sea salt. And then we're going to add some peppers. I have 4 different varieties, so I'll just add around 4 of each. Now, I'm not a professional cook or anything like that, and so what I just want to do is spread these around a little bit. Then I'd want to add some jalapenos, and according to my notes, jalapenos have a lot of fiber, they're low in calories, they have vitamin C and B6. Just add around 2 or 3 of these because these have a real kick to them. Mix those around and really make sure that they get into that avocado oil to be sauteed more effectively. And the last thing I'm going to add is some good old spinach. You've seen Popeye, you know that that's good for you. And according to my notes, it has some potassium, magnesium, vitamin B6, B9, folic acid, calcium. As you know, calcium is good for bone structure. And so just sprinkling a little bit of spinach. And then we just mash all of these vegetables together, saute them, and get some good mixture in there. Once we're done, we just cover this up and we move on to the eggs. And so I'm using brown organic eggs. They're a bit more, they have a bit more nutrients than regular eggs, but in my notes, just to give you some perspective, eggs are an excellent source of protein. They have vitamin B2, they have vitamin D, B6, B12. Excellent. And I'm actually going to use 4 eggs, but just for you guys at home, I'll demonstrate how I crack an egg. And it's better to do it in the sink just in case you mess up and you make a bit of a mess. The main thing is just want to make sure that you don't get any shells in there, because that can be quite damaging. And then I use a big fork, but it is a bit easier to use a whisk because I don't have one on me, and so I like to just mix them around with a large fork for a little bit. And then what I do is right about this point I add a little bit of milk. I'm lactose intolerant, and so this one is actually lactose free. But it's not quite like soy milk, which is a bit sweet, and that would actually ruin the eggs. You want something that's a bit more plain, like this milk here, just to give your eggs a bit more creaminess. And the trick to this is you just hold the fork like this, and you use, it's really a lot in the wrist. And you feel, get some paper towels here, we don't want salmonella. When you feel that they are mixed in well enough, you just throw them on in with the vegetables. And now at this point, I'm going to add some tomatoes. Now, in my notes, tomatoes are a good source of fiber, potassium, vitamins C, folate. They reduce cardiovascular disease risk. They're very important for reducing heart disease risk. And you just want to put in There's just a spoonful of tomatoes in the mix there, maybe just a little more. That wasn't quite a whole spoonful. And then we just wait a little while, and once it's getting cooked a little, well, first put in a little bit of cheese. Now, the cheese is really to hold everything together, otherwise this would be a very messy dish. And in my notes, cheese is a good source of calcium, protein, zinc, phosphorus, and they're really for taste, but cheeses can also be nutritious. It's just important not to have too much of it. So I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit on the eggs, and I'm going to add more once the egg cooks well enough. And so just to speed up that process, you just want to put that at a higher setting from low to medium. And then just wait a little bit and then add some more cheese, and that'll kind of tie the whole thing together. So this is what it should start to look like before you put the cheese on. Now it's not quite ready yet, but you can see how it's solidifying. It's not quite that yolk anymore. You might be able to see, you have a really good eye, a bit of brown toward the edges, and you want a little bit of brown in the eggs just to make sure that they're cooked well enough. You don't want to eat any raw eggs. As I mentioned before, you don't want to get salmonella, and that's how you can get salmonella using just raw eggs. And so this is how it should start to look, and in just a short amount of time it's going to be ready for me to put some more cheese, tie the whole thing together. This is what it looks like when you want to speed up the process, and so you flip it. And so as you can see, it's quite well cooked. You got a lot of nice brown edges there, and so it's ready for me to put some more cheese, just to really make sure that it's not going to be super messy and that everything is going to stick together pretty nicely. Beautiful. Then we just cover it and leave it for a little while, let the cheese melt so that everything can stick together well, as I've said before. Then you just want to serve this on a plate and make sure that it doesn't fall off. I'm sure that you guys will be better at picking this up than I am. And it already looks beautiful, doesn't it? But just to add a little bit more pizzazz, we just add a few more of these beautiful fresh tomatoes and just a couple of leaves of this spinach, and then voila, we get a beautiful egg dish with fresh, nutrient-rich, organic fruit. Oh, by the way, no saturated fat here, and it's gonna be delicious. And this is about 4 servings right here. Bon appetit for all of you guys who make this. I hope you enjoy your dish, and I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much.